our Facebook group. And I'm going to take some allergy medicine so I'm not sniffling it up on the stream. Give me a second. Okay, good to go there. I think we're live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and we are also live vertically on YouTube. We are recording. Something's going on where it's not letting me go live in a Facebook group, so let's see if I can fix this real quick. Live here. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Well, let's see what happens if we take YouTube off. Well, we'll have to figure out another time when I'm going live. Let's see if I have to restart the stream or not. Okay, cool. We're good to go. Yep, we'll test that out another time. No biggie. Okay, cool guys. So we're live on stream. I'm going to turn my phone off of Do Not Disturb because you know what we're here to do. We're here to help people feel connected, help people feel less stressed, right? Let's see if we can fix this camera a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. We're here to help people feel connected and less stressed, and we do that by answering your community and communication questions live on stream. We actually had our event yesterday for the Austin Dog Parent Social Club at Blue Owl Brewery. It was pretty cool. We played Jeopardy. About 15, 20 people came out with their dogs, maybe 10, 20 people. It's like couples, dogs. There was like 7 or 8 dogs, and then some came in twos. Some groups had like 4. You know, you just never know. But it was fun. It was a good time. Played some Jeopardy, which was basically trivia. Some people got drinks, food, etc. Longer night because I went without dinner until like 9 p.m. But it was a good time, actually. And looking forward to hosting more of those events. I'll probably spend less money to advertise them because we had something like 220 people interested in this event, 27 RSVP'd. We were giving away $100, and then like 15 people showed. And so I would much rather spend, like, I probably won't advertise through the Facebook event situation again, because I'd rather have solid RSVPs than have a bunch of people interested but nobody show. So Facebook was able to get a bunch of people to click, but not a bunch of people to show. And so advertising an event, I'm trying to get RSVPs, seats and butts, if you will. But we're on the stream now. I'm just telling you guys about the event we had yesterday. If you have a community question, communication question, feel free to call in. If you have a dog poop horror story, favorite dog story, feel free to call in, text in 512-591-6138. We're here to help you feel connected and give you a good laugh in the morning while you're on your dog walk or while you're just chilling. Getting ready for work or whatever it may be that you are up to. Guys, in addition to, let me pause here. Let me see. Chilling. Okay. In addition to that, we go through our stream segments while we wait for people to hop on the stream and call in. So if we are talking about a community segment, a communication segment, but before we do that, we also trade live on stream because you guys are just invited into my life pretty much. And so from 7 to 8 a.m., I take trade. So I'm going to look at the charts because I haven't gotten a chance to look at them yet today. Next 5 to 10 minutes or so is going to be me doing analysis kind of out loud. So you're going to hear some day trading jargon, if you will. Give me a second. I've got to hook up this new computer. I've been saying this for a week and a half, but it's happening this evening. Like this evening, it's happening. Trade debate's taking a little bit longer than I would like to. All right, let's see what we got. Oh boy, my allergies. All right, so if we look at the hour chart, oh yeah. So the hour chart has a huge 1 hour fair value gap that just formed, and it has already swept one low. It's getting close to sweeping another, but it kind of bounced off of that before it swept it. So that low is the next liquidity is going to, but it created this huge fair value gap. So it always goes external, internal, external. And so when taking the most recent external, the 4 a.m. low, it created a huge internal at this 6 a.m. fair value gap. And so what I'm really waiting for is this fair value gap to finish forming and therefore to pop back in there and then come to take this low over here at 7 p.m. So basically we have to wait till 7:40 to take a trade, which is pretty chill. And we'll probably be taking it long into this fair value gap, depending on what the market's looking like around 7:40. And then I'm sure there'll be another trading opportunity somewhere between 8 and 10 from that fair value gap to the low, shorting it. But if I was trading for 3 hours, those would be the two opportunities I'd be looking for. I'm not trading for 3 hours, though. I'm trading for one. So at 7:40, I'll be looking to go long into the fair value gap because that will be my clear draw on liquidity. Like right now, we don't have a clear draw on liquidity because in the next hour, it could snap up, close that fair value gap, but we don't even know it's valid. But if it's still hovering with a really open fair value gap, we can decide to start to take it long, even though we did just create a bullish fair value gap with a CISD. If this was 7:40, I'd be taking this trade right now. But with no clear draw on liquidity, because that fair value gap could do anything in the next 30 minutes, all we've done is swept external without knowing what internal we're going to. And for all I know, it could sweep the next external before it goes internal again. So yeah, just waiting. That's pretty much what you do when you trade. You wait, and then sometimes you wait, and then you miss. And then that sucks, but you go back to waiting because there's always another trade on the table coming through. All right, Jessica, good morning. How you doing? I think you should be able to hear me now. Good to go. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I missed Monday. I had a work thing that started at 7 a.m. and so just wasn't able to make it to the stream. And then, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was here, but had some trouble with my computer and recording because of my memory and stuff. But I'm back. We back. And now I'm trying to figure out how to stream into the Facebook group, which will be pretty important because I have 100 plus dog parents in there that I think would enjoy this stream because some of them will be walking their dog at this time. Perfect. Glad you can hear me loud and clear. We just did our market analysis, if you're curious. Probably won't be taking a trade till 7:40. So until then, it's all in on the stream. If you have any questions, comments, or poop horror stories, feel free to share. I might get some new dog poop horror stories this weekend because we recently did a lot of door hangers, which cost a good amount of money and didn't perform as well as I would have liked. But we got 2 free poop scoops from it. And we have a 3rd free poop scoop coming up this weekend. So we have 3 free scoops this weekend, which will hopefully convert to another client or 2. And yeah, that'll just be hype. That'll be fun. because I haven't done a free poop scoop in a little bit. Just been servicing my clients because I've been changing up my marketing strategy to kind of decrease CAC. But with that, first poop scoops, you never know. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I go up there, I clean it up every now and then. Haven't cleaned it up in 2 weeks. Want you to come help me out. Easy first poop scoop. Other people are like, man, I haven't been back there in 3 months. That's the only place I let my dog go poop because I don't walk him that much. And good luck. And then that's when you get some horror stories of like, I go to sleep and I'm still seeing poop from picking up for 3 hours straight or whatever it is. So maybe I'll have some new dog poop horror stories this weekend from all the poop scooping that I'm doing. But it was a pretty cool event last night. Just updating you on how it went. We had about 10 to 15 people, maybe 20 come out, 7 to 10 dogs at Blue Owl Brewing. Had some trivia Jeopardy on the board. If I had won, I would have gotten free pizza, but I didn't win, unfortunately. So no free pizza for me. Yeah, I'm trying to think through, like, when you run ads on Facebook, you have a bunch of people click. But this is a good point about community, actually. You don't just want a lot of people opting into community. You want the right type of people opting into community. So we had a lot of people opt in to that event, right? And they ended up marking that they're interested in coming to the event. We had 200 plus people marking that they're interested, and Facebook would count that as a win because you got an event response. But I'm like, nah, I'm looking for RSVPs that actually show. And so it's hard with the free event because nobody has skin in the game. You know, you have a lot less people show than one would like. But, you know, when you have 220 people, I'm expecting 5% of them to show up, and didn't really have a way to nurture them, didn't really have a way to prompt them to RSVP or build momentum for the event. So probably won't be advertising a Facebook event like that. Yeah. No, it was a good amount of people that came out to the event. And it was our first real event. We've done a few walks with the group, but it was our first real event. And there's a lot of things I would do differently. It's going to require a lot more work in the future to host good free events. But when you host good free events, people tell their friends. And when they tell their friends, you start to build more of people coming to that consistent activity. And, you know, we always talk about our stages of community, which is like small talk, which I feel like we got to at the event yesterday. And then after small talk, you got consistent activity, which is what I'm trying to get people to. It's like, hey, come consistently. We're doing this once a month. As the group grows, we'll do one event per month per 100 to 200 people in the group, probably capping it at like 8 events per month to a week. So trying to get to that consistent activity mark, so then we can get to the vulnerability, so that then people will do more consistent activity. It's like, hey, we really like each other now. We know each other now. We want to see each other more. So that's that more consistent activity. And then eventually we'll move into once the group grows and we get a good rhythm, we'll try and tackle a mission together, whether it's partnering with Austin Pets Alive or some other nonprofit, or creating our own dog parent, kind of our pet sanctuary, to kind of help stray dogs and stuff. We'll just do something that people can pour money into, pour time into, that they that just brings them together. Because I think that shared experience is pretty key. And then hopefully, you know, my ultimate goal is to help people who are in poverty. And so if growing this community can segue into that somewhere way down the line, that would be cool. Otherwise, I just learned how to build community in the meantime. So a lot of things I would change, starting with how people RSVP. I'd rather have a lot fewer people who do a lot more serious of an RSVP, because even the people who marked going, only like 7 of 27 showed, or 9 of 27 showed. And so, you know, I'm trying to get firm RSVPs without people paying necessarily to come out, because I want to keep it free, but also don't want to spend a bunch of money advertising something and then nobody shows, right? So those are just some things that I'm thinking through, and just how to make it more fun, more engaging. Like when people come and they're strangers and all they have in common are their dogs, it's hard to like get people to connect for longer than 3 minutes. You know, it's like, oh, tell me about your dog. And then, oh, I'll tell you about my dog. And then our dogs play together. But it's like, what's next? You know, we want the people to be friends too. So a lot of logistics to think through for our next dog event, if you will. Mostly about how to get the parents to connect more. So anyway, another thing I found out about community, it attracts different types of people. So who showed up to the free events? Pretty like, what if you reached out to all the people that said they were going and said, hey, I see they must be, yes. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to like build some hype for the event, Jessica. No, it wouldn't be weird. I actually did that to the extent I could. But when you have a Facebook event as the RSVP function, I wasn't necessarily able to capture everybody's contact information. So with Facebook, they can just click interested or click going. But if I'm not friends with them, I can't really DM them. And Facebook doesn't let you DM people in bulk anyway. Like I could do 5 to 10 a day. So all the interested people I couldn't really DM. Most of the RSVPs I couldn't really DM. And so I tried to drive them into the group and make posts there. But even there, people weren't super engaging or super engaged, right? So that's just that's the one of the things that I would change about kind of building this out, right? Yeah, so I did at them on the post. That worked a little bit, but Facebook also limited how many people I could at, which was crazy. It's like I went and took the time to at like 50 people, and only 3 of them worked because I think Facebook thought I was trying to spam. So good on Facebook for having a lot of like spam barriers. Increases user experience for sure, but makes it really hard for me to follow up with people on my events. So in the future, I'll have some opt-in where it's like, okay, maybe I don't get 230 people that are interested, but 230 people still saw the event, and maybe 40 of them RSVP'd, and all 40 of those people I can like call, text, email, and follow up with to like build hype for the event, to get them excited about the event and to make sure they opt into the raffle. Because a lot of people, opted in for the $100 raffle that we were doing, but most of them didn't even get the chance to win or didn't really get a chance to put their name in the shtick. And I was looking for the at everyone function for the group I have. I think has something to do with more experienced or bigger groups. And so Facebook is waiting to like enable that functionality for me until I get a bigger Facebook group, which I have like 140 people in there. So I feel like that's plenty big, but we'll see how it goes. I think in the future it'll just be a RSVP, name, email, phone number, very simple RSVP, so I can get your contact information. Saw you RSVP'd for the event. Looking forward to having you. And it'll be like, hey, join the Facebook group to get your to complete getting your name in the raffle, basically. Because before I had go mark going on the Facebook event and join the Facebook group, but now it's gonna be like your RSVP says you're going, because I'll have a different RSVP kind of system, if you will. Instead of Facebook events, it'll be like driving them to a landing page that RSVPs. That makes it really easy to RSVP. I don't know whether it'll be on Eventbrite, Meetup, or just some regular RSVP tool. Maybe even just I would love for them to be able to put it on their calendar, have some functionality for that. So I'll have to think about that a little bit. But RSVP, add to your calendar, join the Facebook group. So now I have their contact information, have a more firm RSVP. I can kind of nurture them leading up to the event, and hopefully they join the Facebook group to be eligible for the raffle. And then, of course, if they want their name in 10 times, they can give us feedback about what they really want from free events, or they can inquire about any of our paid stuff, and that'll get their name in the raffle. And that just gives me a chance to have a conversation with everybody. So that's kind of how the funnel works. I just need to tweak it a little bit. I think it's a good funnel. But how it went last night, I can't keep spending that much money on it. And so the events might be a lot smaller for a little bit. The group's growth rate might slow, at least for the next couple months, probably till January or February. So just some things that I'm thinking about. But that's how the event went yesterday. And the group's a good size. Like we have people in there, so we should be able to get events of this size, 15, 20, 25 people anyway, just from our group, if we do it at a time and day that works for everybody. So, yeah, that's just some of the stuff I'm thinking about. But that RSVP system, like, needs to happen. Also, for people interested in the paid stuff, I need to nurture them better. Let's see, we might have somebody texting in. Oh, nope, that is a spam text. I saw a third person join the stream, and then I got a text. So I was trying to see, but we got a second person on Facebook. Hey, what's up? Let me know who you are. Leave a comment. I'm just going back and forth with Jessica about how the event went yesterday. Some things I want to tweak for our Awesome Dog Parents Social Club. I'll probably jump into a community or communication segment here soon, unless somebody else has a question they want me to ask. But yeah, we had 10 or 15 people show. It was a good time, and we will definitely be doing it again in a month or so. Probably more like 3-ish weeks, because I think there's 1 week where we're here, we don't have something, and it's not Thanksgiving. So we'll be figuring that out shortly. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and jump into a community segment or communication segment so we can have something a little bit more meaty to talk about. I don't like this one as much, but I'm going to do it because it's the next one on, and remembering key details in somebody's life is important. And so, guys, we always like to talk about communication and community on the stream. And to do that, I often enlist the help of ChatGPT to consolidate my thoughts, but we've broken it up into like big things, the little parts of the big things, and then the specific things you need to do to make those little parts of the big things work. So basically we have domains, facets, and aspects of community and communication. And today, hold on, give me a second. Today, we are going through a communication segment to help you become genuinely interested in others. And this is to help you connect with them. The action you need to do is remember key details that they share. And I'm going to tell you a few tricks that I have to do those key details. I just need to frame it right because we try to cut these clips for social media, and that just takes a little bit of time. So while I'm doing that with my pal ChatGPT, what's going on in y'all's life? Jessica, anything new with you? Oh, here we go. She actually has a suggestion. Let's see. You should reach out to different pet-oriented businesses and see if anyone would donate things for an event for you. I don't know if that would work exactly, but I know when my friend had her bachelorette party, she reached out to a lot of people and businesses, and they donated a lot of things for her to give away, which I know is not the same thing, but some businesses just want to get their name out there and also want to help. Yes, Jessica, I think that is a great idea in terms of running future events. So yesterday, we actually had, I'm going to shout her out, but we had a local pet business owner who is making custom treats for pets come out and give treats to all the dog parents and dogs that came there. So it was called Pause and Nourish, and she owns she owns a little startup trying to do dog treats, and she also walks dogs and pet sits dogs and whatnot. And she came and helped, and she gave some free treats. So that's super cool. Yeah, I think collaborating with those pet-oriented businesses, super key, especially some of the national brands that have a lot more stuff to give away, are like consistently getting customers and have that discretionary income to spend towards marketing. super clutch to add to the giveaway. Like if I, instead of me just giving away $100, it could be $100 in these custom pet treats and this custom collar and this, that, and the other. So it makes the giveaway bigger, which makes it easier to advertise, which, you know, just makes things better in general. All right, let's see if I can get a good. Ooh. This is a funny segment. It's gonna sound really intense, but it's like not that intense, but it's gonna be hopefully useful. Let's see. Most people forget names because they focus on being interested, not being interested. Okay. Got my segment planned out. Why the $100? If I was a dog parent, I'd be happy if it was like a little gift basket of sample size stuff. Yeah, no, $100 is a lot, and it felt like a lot when I was giving it yesterday. But my kind of thing was, yes, you would be happy with a little gift basket of sample size stuff that you got donated, but you'd probably also be happy with $100. And so it's a lot for me to give, but you know, the idea is if $100 gets 50 people there instead of 30, which that is not how it worked out, but it's how I thought it was going to work out. Would I pay, you know, $5 extra for an RSVP? Yes, I would. And so when you have a bigger prize, more people will come and the advertising will be more effective. So that's why I went the $100 because I was like, ooh, that feels a little uncomfortable for me. So people are probably more likely to show up, which it did get, like, specifically somebody told me this got me to show up, or this got my friend to show up, and that's why we're here today, versus, you know, a little gift basket of sample size stuff. People will come for that too. It's like, hey, we partnered with the local dog treat and grooming shop to give you guys a little basket of their treats, and we're raffling that off at the end. People will do that too. And honestly, for just cost sake, and given that the $100 didn't move the needle as much, that partnership raffle off might be something I'm looking more at in the future, because yeah, I probably spent $800 advertising and $100 on the giveaway, and ended up with 20 people showing up. So that's like $40 a person. So should have made a post with the winner, like a photo of them holding the $100 to create buzz. Yeah. I didn't take a picture with Ed, but I thought about it in the moment, and this was probably on me, but I just Venmo'd him. So less of a physical thing to show. But what I am going to do is send a screenshot of the Venmo, put it in the Facebook group, be like, hey, congratulations to Ed, our winner. And maybe I'll use that picture to advertise the next event too. That would be interesting. Like, hey, congratulations to Ed, our winner. He won the $100. If you guys want a chance to win $100 at the next giveaway, you know, this, that, and the other. So I'll do that to create a little bit of buzz, and maybe next time I'll have $100 bills so we can take a picture together and do the whole shtick. But yeah, $100 was just a giveaway to get people showing. Gotta have a enticing giveaway. You know, if I'm like, hey, I'm giving away $1, nobody's gonna show up for that. Give away a gift basket. Some people will show up for that. And then I thought giving away $100, more people would show up for that. And I think I got about the same as I would if I did a gift basket. So, you know, you live and you learn. We're going to run through this connection segment real quick. I'll speak into the details of it. And then we will keep going from there. We'll probably be checking the charts again here in a second because it's about 7:40, which means we might be able to take something along into the bearish fair value gap. All right, so domain is connection. The facet is becoming genuinely interested in others, right out of How to Win Friends and Influence People. The aspect is remembering key details that they share. And so a question a lot of people might have is, how do I actually remember what people tell me, and then specifically their names? And this is specifically important because if you can remember somebody's name after you've heard it just once, it will show them that you care, like just straight up, because most people are forgetting people's names because we're all focused on our own lives. And when you take the time to remember somebody's names, remember a few details about them, it tells them that you're a certain type of person, and it also tells them that you care about them. And it's super important that you show people that with how you communicate to them. And I do a bad job of this, so I want to do a better job. But this is so important because for me, like, God loves me. God loves people. I want to show people through how I act that God loves them. And so God remembers the little details about my life, so I need to work to remember the little details about other people's lives, because their lives are full of the little details. Like, that's all they're thinking about all day. So one of those little details is their name. And so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about how I remember names and faces in apartment life, hopefully in this dog parent community as it grows, so on and so forth. So here we go. Most people forget names because they focus on being interesting, not being interested. And here's 3 steps I'll use to remember people's names on a regular basis. So the first, we want to anchor memory to detail/emotion. So anytime I see somebody, I'm trying to figure out which details, which emotions they made me feel, which experiences I had with them, and attach that to their name and their face. Maybe they had a golden retriever and we were from the same hometown. I'll anchor those 2 things, those 2 details in my mind to their name and to their face. And the second thing I'll do is repeat their name naturally in conversation as many times as I can. I'll get their attention, or I'll compliment them. I'll be like, oh, Jessica, you're so funny. Or, oh, Jessica, I can't believe you did this. And I'll repeat their name 5-10 times in the first 5 minutes of hearing it so that it cements it in my brain. The third thing is I'll have a list and record details. So after I'm talking with somebody, the second I step away, I'll typically write their name in a prayer list and a little detail about them so that I can go back and I can pray over them later. And when I go back to pray over them, that little detail and seeing their name brings me back to that moment, links their name in my head again. So remember, you're not forgetful. You just need systems to help you remember so that you can show people how much you care. And those 3 things might just help. All right. That's our little segment on connection that my VA can clip for social media. So that's cool. These 3 things actually do help a lot. Anchoring memory to detail/emotion. Whenever you, whenever I'm talking to somebody and I take the time to remember 1 or 2 things about them, like, it helps me remember their name tremendously. Let's see. Jessica says, if you did the paid partnership and had people pay to get their way into the group, part of that money could go toward the giveaways. Jessica, I like how you're thinking. You got some entrepreneurial bones in there. If I did the paid partnership and had people pay to get their way into the group, part of that money could go towards giveaways. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And by paid partnership, are you saying like the businesses provide giveaways and then people pay into the group? Or am I like paying the businesses to sponsor and then people pay to give in or to get in, and all that goes towards the raffle at the end? because I like the idea of businesses give stuff to kind of get their name out there. I give the marketing to get the people there, and then people pay a small commitment fee, basically $5 to like actually RSVP for the event. And then everybody has some skin in the game, and the giveaway is a lot cooler. Yeah, I kind of like that a lot, because you get 20 people out who paid. Oh, so do like the paid community, people pay their way to get into the group. Part of that money goes towards the giveaway. Yeah, no, I think that's right. And the other thing I learned from yesterday is that like with the free events, you get a lot of people whose kids have already kind of left the house, and they're really just looking for free stuff to socialize. And then they're very consistent at showing up. Like they'll show up to everything, and that's super helpful. But they have a lot of people RSVP who are younger, in their 20s, also looking to socialize. But like, if it's free, they don't really show up as much. And so they're looking like people in their 20s who are looking to socialize are faster to pay for a community just because they have discretionary income. It's just them and their dog. And like mid 20s to early 30s, just moved to Austin, has a dog, no spouse, like decent paying job and looking for friends because you just moved to Austin. Like that person will like pay $50 to like get into a community like right off the bat without really anything happening. And then they can like get paid for it. That money can go towards a giveaway. Whereas like there's plenty of people who just want free stuff, which is great because that can build community too. But then it makes it hard to like finance the giveaway and finance the events and finance running a good event. So I like keeping the free stuff, but I also like having like this paid portion where people get bigger giveaways and more quality events, if you will. But yeah, voice to text, that's hype. I don't do that a ton. Okay, so I said I want to trade at 740 because that's when I thought it would be going back into this bearish fair value gap that was forming at 6. Oh, hold on, my brother's calling me because there might be a trade popping off right now. Theo, what's up?
Yo.
What's up? What's up?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Live on stream. Have you looked at the chart yet?
Yes, looking at them now. I was actually hearing you say what you wanted. So
yeah, I was looking forward to go back up into the bearish fair value gap after it swept that low. And I was actually saying earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were listening then, that it might go down to sweep this other low before it goes up. So who knows? And it looks like it did.
Hey.
So anyway, I think we might might get some here in a second.
Facts.
If this candle keeps pushing up like it is. Jessica, by Monday, I will definitely have a better computer up and going, and then I'll have my screen shared on the stream so you can actually look at the charts with me, because I know it's not super fun to hear me talk about something you can't see. But look back on my question after you make that trade. For sure. So I don't think the trade's happening right now, Jessica, but I don't see your question. The last thing I see is I voiced to text. I meant the people paying to get into the group. And then if you did the paid partnership and had people pay to get their way into the group, part of that money could go towards giveaways. Are you referring to that question? Or are you referring to something else? Because I don't see any other questions. Let me know. Right before that, let's see. Right before that, you should have made a post with the winner, like a photo of them holding the $100 to create buzz. How about you just retype your question so I can see it again, and so we know we're talking about the same thing, so I can address it, because I'd love to address it. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Let's see.
Entry here at 24957, 20-point stop loss.
20 point stop loss.
And there it is. Yeah, I got filled 2 points late because I couldn't put down the limit order in time.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's a fat L. I didn't get filled because I didn't calculate my risk quick enough. And now my computer's freezing. Let's see.
It might tap you in here.
Yeah. Nope. That's okay. I'm not tripping. All right, let's see. Ooh, I have a good question. How do you get people to listen with the goal of understanding instead of people who listen to respond, which is totally different? Ooh, I like that question. Okay. How do you get people to listen with the goal of understanding instead of people who listen to respond, which is totally different? I agree. It is totally different. And getting people to listen with the goal of understanding instead of people who listen to respond. This is going to be a weird answer. And Theo, I'm curious what you think about this. Did you hear the question?
I did.
Okay. So for me, getting people to listen with the goal of understanding instead of people who listen to respond, in this scenario, I'm imagining you're talking to somebody and you would like them to listen to understand you instead of listening to respond to you. And if that is the correct scenario, if I'm hearing that right, I would say the first step is making sure you have listened to understand them first. Because there's something called the law of reciprocity, and it's just pretty innate in humans, where if you do something good for me, I want to do something good for you. And often people who are listening to respond are doing that because they feel like they have something they need to say that hasn't been heard. So they're like, need to feel heard, or their need to, is what I would guess. Is like when I have an argument and I have a point that I'm trying to make, it's because I feel like the person hasn't heard my point, so they don't understand like where I'm coming from, and I feel like I'm really right, so they need to understand me. So I'm just thinking about my response and how I can get them to understand me, versus somebody who has like taken the time to listen to me, like heard all of my concerns, made me feel like super understood, super heard. Now I can turn around and do the same for that person because I feel like I am like calm, satisfied, chill. So I just know when I'm really agitated about something and I'm in my I'm listening to respond because I'm trying to get you mode, or I'm trying to prove a point, or I have something I really need to say before I forget it. I can't hear people. And so I'm not even like ready to listen to understand. So that person who's talking to me, if they don't understand that part about me, they can't influence my behavior, right? So I would say the best thing to do is make sure that person feels understood. And then there's a second part of this where it's just kind of a quality of person situation. Like some people just don't listen. Now, I don't think that's a lot of people. That's less people than you would think, but some people are just genuinely like narcissistic, don't listen to anybody, and like will just be selfish for their entire life. And with those people, there's a book I read, I think it was called The Compound Effect. And in that book, he says, some people are just 2-minute people. Like, you spend 2 minutes with them, and that's enough time. And that's all you should spend with them. And so, if you're trying to get a 2-minute person to understand you, and they're just not worried about understanding anybody, it might be best to go be understood elsewhere. But in the instance you're dealing with a normal person who does listen and can kind of reciprocate that, I would say make sure they feel understood and demonstrate what you want them to do before you ask them to do it by choosing to understand them. Because then they'll feel safe, their guard will be down, and they'll feel like they have some camaraderie to reciprocate with you. So that's kind of my response to it. Theo, what do you think? Any holes you can poke in that?
That was perfect. The only thing I would say is I'm pretty big on communication and making things plain. Just tell them. And here's the thing, they might not be able to do it the first time, but they might do it the third or the fourth time, right? Hey, I don't really want advice. I just need someone to talk to. Right.
So you're saying hit them with that, like frame the conversation like that.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
My thing was, because it's so funny, because I never really thought of when someone would tell me something, I automatically assumed, oh, they want my help.
Yep.
Right. That's and we all know here that's not always the case. Some people just want to vent and just say whatever.
Yeah.
Without criticism or constructive criticism or whatever. But I thought in my head, it's like, oh, that's the type of person I am. I look for solutions, right? And I think a lot of men in general are that way. We look for solutions. But yeah, you have to try framing the conversation first.
Yeah.
So it's so easy. It's like, hey, I need some advice versus, hey, I don't need any advice, but can I tell you what's been going on?
Yeah. No, I like that for sure. Jessica, what do you think about that? We have frame the conversation. We have make sure you've listened to them first. And we have maybe it's a 2-minute person. Yeah, here we go. Jessica says, can you see her chats, Thea?
I'm not on Facebook. I'm on Twitch.
Oh, gotcha. Jessica says, see, what I'm saying is different than what Theo is saying, but I know that is a man thing. Men want to solve your problem, but I just want to be heard. Yeah. I mean, I think, if it's happening with somebody who's like a reasonable person and they're close to you, I think like framing that conversation and like telling them like what that means. Like people might not always know what that means. Cause like it really does like like to be heard and to not be like given advice or to like it's hard for guys to like get into their thick heads like the first time around. And so if you're with somebody who's like always giving you advice, they might really think they're being helpful. And you have to like be clear to them. You're like, there's another little tip from How to Influence People. It's appeal to the nobler motives. Like let them know that you really appreciate that how much they want to help you. Like let them know that, tell them that, but then say, but what you're doing isn't super helpful. Let me show you how to help me. And then you say like, this is what hearing me looks like versus giving me advice looks like. So,
yes.
Kind of acknowledge the fact that they want to help, like let them know that you appreciate that and their intent so that then you can show them how to do it well. And now you'll kind of, I don't know, I think it'll just help them out. they'll be able to hear you better.
I was gonna say, people, you have to come from the angle of people don't know how to love you. You have to teach people how to love you. It's the same thing of like if you people say if you don't respect yourself, people won't respect you, right? You have to stand your ground and things like that. It's the same thing with love and affection, in my opinion. But people don't really talk about this because there are some people with similar love languages, right? So the love that they want is going to be the love that they give. And then that kind of matches, right? It's like some people will love somebody in a way, and this is interesting because I think this is low key kind of like a spiritual gift thing. Some people love somebody in a way that naturally makes you feel loved, versus another person might love you in a way that doesn't make you feel loved, but they're still trying to love you because that's what they know, you know? And so, yes, you have to teach people how to love you. Namely, yes, like, oh, she put another comment.
Yeah, she did. She did. She said, but my instance is, let's say I told a friend an issue, but they got stuck on the details instead of what the big picture actually meant. So nothing changed because they weren't actually listening to me. They just heard what they want in our friendship. Oh, okay. Okay, so what it sounds like, and maybe I'm hearing this wrong, but it's like you told a friend an issue, they got stuck on the details of that issue instead of what the big picture actually meant, so nothing changed. And I assume that the issue was an issue between you two in your friendship. That's what I'm assuming. If I'm wrong, put some in the chat, let me know. But my hypothesis, I'll tell you a story. So this happens all the time in marriage where there's an issue that pops up. And I might be talking about the big picture of the issue, and Gracie might be honing in on the details, or Gracie might be talking about the big picture of the issue, and I'm honing in on the details. And almost 100% of the time, I presented that issue in a way that put Gracie on defense mode, or Gracie presented that issue in a way that put me on defense mode. And so now I'm honing in on the details to disqualify what they're saying to protect my own ego, or Gracie's honing in on the details to disqualify what I'm saying and protect her own ego. And it gets really hard because earlier when I said, if somebody's not listening to understand you, and they're listening to respond, there's probably something like they don't feel safe. I would say pause in this instance that you're talking about this with this friend and see if they're on defense mode. And you can see if somebody's on defense mode. 1, are they verbally defending themselves? 2, check out their body language. 3, listen to their tone. If it's kind of elevated, or they're talking a little bit faster, or they have their arms crossed, or they're like more distant from you than usual, like some of these things are some telltale signs that they're on defense mode. But I mean, if they're honing in on the details and you're speaking about the big picture, I'd be willing to bet a lot of those details are in opposition to your big picture because they're trying to defend themselves. I don't know any details about the situation, but I know every time I'm honing in on details and Gracie's talking about big picture, it's because I'm trying to protect my own ego, to prove my own point, because I don't feel heard, or I don't feel understood, or I don't feel safe. And I'm not saying that's right. And so this is where it also there's another layer of difficulty here. If neither person feels safe in the communication that is going on, one person has to take the bullet and swallow their pride and make the other person feel safe so that the conversation can actually move forward. And that's where you get into loving people, which is not insisting on your own way, to quasi quote 1 Corinthians 13, if you will. So maybe in this particular instance, you want to be heard, but to love that person. So how would you get past that? Like, I want them to feel safe, but I also want to be heard. Yeah, man, this is tough. This is tough. And Theo, correct me if I'm wrong. Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong. But I really think the way to get past that, I'll tell you another story on how to get past that, because I got past it in this very, very particular circumstance. I'm not saying this will work across the board, but I'll tell you a story of how it worked for me. So when Gracie and I were dating, we argued a lot about the physical intimacy part of our relationship. I wanted to go further. She didn't want to go further. And so that caused a lot of tension in our dating relationship because, well, I was a dude and very selfish and wanted what I wanted. And she was like, I want to do what's right. I was clearly in the wrong there, but I did not care. And so that would often cause arguments in our relationship because I'd be like, I don't understand. Like, let's just get married then. Or like, let's hurry this up or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, we're still in college. I know I was absurd. But there was one night I had just read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's a negotiation book. And he talks about mirroring people and doing emotional audits to seek to understand them. Because he would negotiate with terrorists and he would want to get what he wanted, but the terrorists who kidnapped an American would also want to get what they wanted. And so he had to make them feel safe before he could get that American home. This was in his FBI negotiation tactics. And so I read this book and then I used...
Post a link to that book, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss. I took the time to read that book and then I tried to apply it in an argument I was having with Gracie. So instead of my typical like, hey, here are my points for why we should go further physically. Here are your points. Here's where my points are right and where your points are wrong. Like I'm listening to what I wanted to hear so that I could prove my point so that she could hear my point versus listening to understand her point. That's how it typically was. This instance, I used the tactics in Never Split the Difference to listen to understand her point. And basically, everything she said, I would repeat the last 5 words. And I would do it in a questioning tone. Like she'd be like, I feel like this. And I was like, you feel like this? And then she would elaborate on her feeling. And I did that. I would mirror. And then she would say something like, just kind of a summative statement. And then I would do a summary of everything I just heard. It seems like you feel like this, this, and this because of this, this, and this. And then she would either affirm that or correct that. And all that happened until the argument literally just stopped. Like, I don't know how it stopped, but she was just like, I feel heard now. I feel understood. And she went, I kid you not, from sitting on the other side of the couch to me to like sitting right next to me and like cuddling with me because I took the time to hear her. Now, maybe that points to how poor of a listener I was in every other aspect of our relationship. But in that particular moment, I listened very well. And I was able to do that because I put my emotions aside. And so this is a key point because you said, I want them to feel safe, but I also want to be heard. You want to be heard, and that desire leads to certain actions, like you trying to prove your point, you try and talk about the big picture, but none of that will be effective until they're heard. So until they're heard, you have to act despite how you feel. And that's how you get past that, honestly. I know that's not a fun answer, but you have to feel like you want to be heard, but act such that they feel heard. And that's how I would get past that. And that's when it goes back to loving people and like not insisting on your own way. You have to take like the first 20 minutes of that conversation. Don't talk about anything you have to say at all. Like don't give any opinions on what they say. Don't give any thoughts on what they say. Just ask questions to further understand what they're saying. Mirror them. Try to spit it back to them. So everything they just talked about for 5 minutes, be like, it seems like you feel this way because of this. So that they know you actually heard them, know that you actually understood them. And so, yeah, Jessica, I know that's not the fun answer, but if you were here in person or we were all having this conflict together, I would try to do that. Be like, hey, we're not getting anywhere. Let me reset. Ask a question. Like literally, if the tensions get high, be like, take a deep breath. Be like, I'm going to ask a question now. And then ask that question and go on that line of questioning until they feel understood. And it'll be very clear when they feel understood. And then after you summarize what they say and they be like, in the book, it says you're going for the answer. That's right. Like you say, it seems like this because this, and they'll be like, that's right. Once they say that and you see them kind of relax, ask, is there anything else you want to share with me? I really want to understand you. And they're like, no, I think you got it all. And you say, can I talk about how I feel? Like ask for permission. I think that'll help. And I mean like exhaust that line of questioning. Like don't just get them to the that's right, but also ask them like, what is your ideal coming out of this? Like fully solve their side of the problem and then ask permission to share your side. Okay. She says that's a good way to think about it. I hope that helped. It's 8:04, so I'm going to end the stream. I see we got some people on. Wanted to say hey to everybody. We jump on every morning, 7 to 8 a.m. to talk about communication questions just like this and community questions to help people feel more connected to the people in their life. So that's what we're doing on the stream. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Jessica, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for asking such a great question. Appreciate you guys, and peace.